Concord is set to be probably the biggest gaming failure of all time. It is unreal how much money this has lost. Initially, I was reading reports of 150 million. Now we're seeing 400 million total. It cost 400 million for Sony to back this up. Keep in mind, we had a online multiplayer Spider-Man canceled. A Days Gone sequel didn't happen, among other canceled projects that could have been bigger and better than this. But no, Sony wanted to help Firewalk Studios put out this woke game where robots have pronouns, where there's fat FUPA soldiers and a lot of DEI bullcrap. They made the biggest mistake of their lives. Now, of course, they probably could just write this off and call it a day, but they invested a lot. They invested in a brand new controller. They've invested physical copies. They're refunding 100% of like every digital copy out there. They're literally deleting this off of people's PlayStations. You can't even have it installed. I went out and actually bought a physical copy before it was too late just so I could have it and have my own ET thing. But this has been trending on social media. This is from Colin Moriarty, who put that they spoke extensively with someone who worked on Concord, and it's so much worse than you think. It was internally referred to as the future of PlayStation with Star Wars-like potential and a dev culture of toxic positivity, halted any negative feedback, making it cost $400 million. Fucking yikes. Guys, again, this is probably the biggest failure in gaming history. Nothing will ever compare to this. That's nearly $500 million. Do you know what Sony could have did with that money? Do you know what Sony could have did with $500 million? We could have gotten a game that people wanted to play. We could have gotten an entertaining game with entertaining gameplay instead of some kind of woke bullcrap made by a Firewalk Studio dev team that is woke as crap, promoted a woke culture, had a person by the name of Professor there. We saw they demanded Kiefer person that was just bitching about white men. Like, this is an infected studio that had 8 years to develop this fucking video game. And $400 million put into it, and it failed. It launched. It didn't even last 2 weeks, as they would say in Total Recall. 2 weeks. It didn't even last 2 weeks. It failed. It was a failure on arrival. On top of that, there's also rumors, and I saw this on Park Place, that the game director, Ryan Ellis, is stepping down, or he's already stepped down after this game's abysmal failure. And this comes after them saying, hey, they're going to try to figure out what they could do to bring the game back to their audiences. Apparently the studio is pessimistic about it. I'm pessimistic about it. This ain't coming. I think even if they decided to go free to play, this game is not going to be saved. This is a failure of epic proportions. And Park Place was talking about it. They kind of made an article recapping it, saying that they posted it saying, while many qualities of the experience resonated with players, they also recognized other aspects of the game and their initial launch didn't land the way they intended. Therefore, they decided to take the game offline beginning September 6th and explore options, including those that will better reach our players. While we determine the best path ahead, Concord sales will cease immediately, and we will begin to offer a full refund for all gamers who purchase the game for PS5 or PC. And that's all they fucking wrote. That's all they fucking wrote, ladies and gentlemen. Unbelievable how far this has fallen. And now Ethan Gotch, who's from Kotaku, is claiming that they stepped down from their position as game director. So Ellis is no more. Apparently, according to Gotch, he put, Ellis told staff at Firewalk last week that he would be stepping down from his game director role and move into a support role instead, according to 3 sources familiar with the change. And according to Park Place, it says this should not be a surprise given it's quite difficult to be a game director when you do not have a game to direct. That is kind of a little bit of a backhanded compliment, right? A little bit of an insult. I mean, you literally were the game director of a game that crashed and burned within 2 weeks on launch. You guys couldn't even hit 1,000 concurrent players on Steam. This is ridiculous. Like, I hate to see game companies fail. I really do hate to see game companies fail. But at the same time, putting all of your eggs into one basket, a $400 million basket, I might add, and doing fuck all with it when there's literally indie studios that could probably make a better game for $500,000, maybe even $100,000, maybe even $50,000. There's literal games on Kickstarter that are fun. They're made by studios that are passionate, studios that don't have woke narratives to cater to, studios that want to entertain gamers. Instead, $400 million goes to a company that would rather promote toxic positivity, promote pronouns with robots, promote woke ideologies in video games, hire employees that hate white people and hate male gamers. It's infecting the gaming community, and people think it's just a right-wing grift that we're all making up. Guys, no. The wrong people are in the gaming industry. They're all political activists, whether they are a developer, an art director, a game director, a journalist. They're all in it for some kind of weird political reason. Who knows why it's getting this way? It's almost like it's organized. It's almost like somebody has to be funding this and being like, hey, go push this and push this and push that. I have no clue why it's happening, but it seems like it's becoming more and more prevalent as time goes by. And they're getting cooked in the comments. They're getting cooked, saying Concord budget to make was $400 million to make. That is beyond insane. A dev culture of toxic positivity halted any negative feedback. That is usually how terrible ideas get this far, to be honest. But if you give feedback, you're the bad guy. So people just stopped doing that after a while. Because, yeah, they were literally firing people that weren't woke, that weren't going with the narrative. Mighty Keith says, look, Concord was a massive failure, but I do not believe this number for a second. The whole I know someone that knows something tweets are just never believable for me anymore. Let me talk about Mighty Keith, or should I say Mighty Queef. This guy is the biggest woke shill out there outside of anybody that works for Kotaku. He's always being contrarian to whatever is right-wing grifters. He's always having to give a benefit of a doubt to anything woke or DEI. Do not ever take his tweets serious. Even now, he's still coping and seeing that Concord lost $400 million. They had to have. Look at everything that was invested into it. There's even a fucking television show that's going to have an episode based on Concord. And you can see even another idiot right here, Del Walker, another moron that's woke. I don't believe that number. I mean, honestly, I believe it. I would honestly believe it. You can see Carolyn, shout outs to Carolyn. A lack of honest feedback is a guaranteed recipe for failure. So, yeah, it is hard to believe. But at the same time, it's not hard to believe that a game would waste $400 million to develop after 8 years, given the time and opportunity by Sony to become the next big IP, and you're more focused on woke bullshit instead of a video game. I 110% believe this number. I 110% believe this number. I think any of the wokies like Dal Walker and Mighty Keef or Mighty Queef, they're just coping over it. And you know what's funny? They probably didn't support this game at all. That's what's funny about it. Literally, like, all the tweets that I've seen since Concord have shut down, the petition even has more people that ever played the game. They couldn't even hit 1,000 concurrent players, but you'll see people praising Concord now, wishing for it to come back, and you're seeing thousands of people liking, thousands of reposts and retweets. Where were all these people to support the game? The modern audience never shows up, guys. They don't show up. You guys do not care about what you're trying to be activists for, because if you did, Concord wouldn't have fucking failed. It's, again, time after time, Concord, Dustborn, Suicide Squad. Time after time, you guys do not show up to support what you're trying to be activists for, and it flops. And at the end of the day, you're going to blame gamers for it. You're going to blame grums. You're going to blame right-wing grifters for all the failures that are with all these games, instead of actually owning up to it and thinking, hey, maybe the stuff at Firewalk Studios that was a little DEI infected and all the bullshit and the toxic workplace, maybe that contributed to this ridiculous yet epic and historic failure in gaming. We're going to look back on this for many years to come. For many, many years to come, we're going to remember how bad Concord failed. And it failed bad. There's no coming back from this. I think Sony looks like they took a big L here. Firewalk Studios definitely took a big L. And that's what you get when you go woke. So, what do you guys think? Let me know your thoughts down below. Subscribe if you're brand new. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say in the comments down below. Thank you for watching.